Doug Ford traveled to Washington today for a second time during his campaign as Ontarians head to the polls in 6 days, this time to attend the National Governors Association winter meeting. Tonight, we take a closer look at Ford's trip and the reasons behind it with Jessica Smith-Cross, our editor-in-chief of our Queen's Park Bureau, The Trillium. Jess joins us tonight from Washington. Jess, did you expect last week, with only 6 days to go before the election, that you would be in Washington covering Doug Ford?
Actually, Scott, I did. We have known that he's been planning to attend this trip for a while now. I think even before he called the election, we knew that this trip was happening and that he planned to come.
Now, have you had a chance to talk to any governors? What are they saying?
Yeah, I just did, actually. The governor of Kentucky, Andy Beshear, came by and spoke to a group of us Canadian media. He's very much against tariffs and retaliatory tariffs from the U.S. to Canada. He's got a couple of industries that export to Canada that he wants to protect. One of them is bourbon. Apparently, we drink enough of it, but that's a concern for him.
So back to Doug Ford. Who exactly is the PC leader meeting with this time? What's the goal of his trip?
Yeah, that's right. He's meeting with a few governors. New York and Georgia are on the list for later today. He's also met with the ambassador to the United States, and he met with an automotive group, industry group this morning. He's here trying to get the message out, particularly to Republican governors, though all governors, that Ontario wants to see free trade between the two countries and an end to this 51st state talk.
And what's at stake here, Jess, for Ontarians?
Well, according to Doug Ford, a lot, and according to economists, a lot. One of the things he said this morning was that it's a matter of weeks before auto plants in both countries shut down if this goes forward.
Now, what about Ford's political opponents? How are they responding to this second trip?
It's sort of much like it was before. They think he's doing this as a political stunt. They don't think he's having any impact on the situation, and he's doing this sort of to use all of this as a campaign prop for his reelection.
So what's the best case scenario here, Jess, for Ford when he gets back on the plane? What does a successful trip look like to him?
In the wild world of magical success, it would be that Trump has changed his mind. There will be no tariffs. There will be no more talk of the 51st state. But that's not a realistic goal. The more realistic goal is if he talks to some governors who have some pull and they carry on his message that it's going to be economic damage on both sides if this goes ahead.
All right, Jess, in a matter of days, we go to the polls, even though some have already voted in advance polls. What's the sense you're getting? Polls still show Ford with a sizable lead. Do you think it'll stick?
Ford has a sizable lead. Unless there is some kind of political earthquake in the last stretch of this campaign, he's likely to win another majority government. There is, I think, some chance, according to the aggregators, that if the stars align perfectly for the NDP and Liberals, there could be some way to hold him to minority, but the chances are slim. But then earthquakes do happen sometimes without warning.
Yes, they do. Ontario heads to the polls February 27th. There's Jessica Smith-Cross, our editor-in-chief of The Trillium, joining us from Washington on tonight's Closer Look.